Hello everyone, welcome to Electronically Connected. First, let's see what topics we are going to be covering in this video. We will be talking about how a PN junction works in the reverse bias mode, the VI characteristics of a diode, and also we will be covering applications of a diode. So, let's understand how does a diode look when it is connected in the reverse bias. So the P side of the diode is connected to the negative terminal, and the N side is connected to the positive terminal. This is how a reverse bias circuit looks like with the diode. Let's understand this better if we elaborate our diagram to understand it better. So we have the P-type semiconductor material and the N-type semiconductor material. This is my junction. So we know that my holes are all lined up on this peripheral and the electrons are lined up near this peripheral where we have a depletion region. Let's draw a smaller depletion region which consists of all my positive ions and my negative ions. So the P-type semiconductor and the N-type semiconductor is connected in this manner. The N-type is connected to the positive terminal and the P-type is connected to the negative terminal. Now, we know that the opposite charges attract to each other. So as we increase the voltage, the reverse bias voltage, what happens is these holes in the P-type semiconductor, they get pulled towards the negative terminal. Similarly, these electrons in the N-type semiconductor, they get pulled towards the positive terminal. So as we keep increasing the voltage, the attraction between the opposite charges, it increases. And with time, my depletion region also increases. So what happens is, let me redraw this part to make you understand better. So understand that the voltage have now increased. So my electrons are all sticking towards the peripheral and the holes are also sticking towards the peripheral. So the depletion region now has widened and there is the electron ions have increased and they are all more spread out and they're not concentrated near the junction. So as the width of the depletion region, let's call this dP for now, as the width of the depletion region increases, the electrical field also increases. So we have an electrical field which flows from the N-type semiconductor to the P-type. This increases as we increase the voltage. So we keep on increasing the voltage, the electrical field increases. Now as a result, there is some flow of current. But it's not fair for the current to flow because all the positive charges are flowing outside and negative charges are flowing inside. But in my P-type semiconductor where we have holes, there are also some minority charges, that is the electrons. We have some minority charges in the P-type and holes as minority charge carriers in the N-type. So let's understand what the minority charge carriers do. So for now, I'm going to erase all these charges so that we can concentrate on the minority charge carriers. Let's pick up some other color. So we have this as our minority charge carriers. This is not a lot in concentration, but we have some minority charge carriers. So as we keep on increasing the voltage, what happens with due time is these electrons, these minority charge carriers, its kinetic energy increases. So because the depletion region has increased, the minority charge carriers now have more place to move about. So the kinetic energy increases. So one electron, it now goes ahead and collides with the other electron. As it collides, it breaks the covalent bonds and it splits into two. So this multiplication keeps on occurring, and due to the collision, as we keep on increasing the voltage, there comes a point which is called the breakdown voltage, the reverse bias breakdown voltage, where my minority charge carriers have sufficient energy in them to cross over the potential barrier and they get attracted. They travel through the N-type semiconductor and get attracted towards the positive charge. So they start traveling in this direction. Similarly, these holes also get sufficient energy they cross the potential barrier, they travel through the p-type semiconductor and get attracted towards the negative terminal of the supply voltage. And hence a current flows. This type of flow of current is known as the avalanche effect. So as we go ahead and increase the voltage beyond a breakdown voltage point, there comes a point where the flow of current occurs, the avalanche effect, and the minority charge carriers are basically the reason behind the flow of current. Now, this avalanche effect is the same that we have seen on the top of a mountain, where a small snow ball, keeps connecting with the other snowballs and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's a huge avalanche effect. But is the avalanche effect good for the diode? No, because what happens is as the kinetic energy keeps on increasing, so we discussed that there are going to be more collisions. As there are more collisions, the heat increases in the diode. As the heat increases and the current keeps on increasing in the reverse direction, the diode starts melting and it starts malfunctioning, and there will be a point when the diode is going to go poof and it's going to start melting and smoking up and eventually stop functioning. So let's understand the VI characteristics of our diode in reverse bias and forward bias. So let's first draw the X and Y, where the X is the voltage and my Y axis is the current. So whenever the voltage is positive, it represents the forward bias mode of the diode, and when the voltage is negative, it represents the reverse bias mode. So let's remember that in forward bias, when the voltage reaches a particular point, that is the forward bias voltage, which was 0.7 in case of silicon, there is a sudden increase in the current. Why? Because the charge carriers have sufficient energy to cross the potential barrier and allow the flow of current. So we have little flow of current till 0.7, and then we have a good flow of current as it reaches the 0.7 voltage supply. Similarly, for my reverse bias, we just saw that there is little flow of current, and as the voltage is increased to the breakdown voltage, there is my avalanche effect and there is a flow of current in the reverse direction due to the minority charge carriers. So this is the avalanche effect. Now this was the case when the diode was silicon material. What happens when the diode is of germanium material? So we have noted that it is 0.3 voltage for germanium. So the characteristics look something similar only. It goes up till 0.3 and then there is increase in the current. And similarly, in reverse bias direction, there is flow of current in the reverse direction. So we have the VI characteristics of a diode if it's made up of silicon or germanium in the forward bias mode and the reverse bias mode. Let us briefly go through some of the applications of a diode. It's used in rectifier circuits to help convert the AC into DC. Switching diode is used in circuits which deals with switching low voltages. The Zener diode and the Varactor diode are used to control circuits which can lead to over voltages. The photodiode is, as the name suggests, is a diode which is sensitive to light. So it helps in converting my light to current. Then we have a solar cells where the diodes are used as the bypass diodes. It ensures that the current flows only in one direction, because if the current will flow in the opposite direction, then it can lead to the heating of our solar cells. Then we have the light emitting diodes. It's used for glowing of LEDs like red color, green color, blue color. And diodes are used in laser circuits to control the power. So these are for power purposes. These are some of the applications of a diode. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to Electronically Connected. See you next time.